It's an ML Sports Take here from Rosie's Corner. Stop by for pizza, wings, hot and cold subs, and more. I'm waiting on my Reuben right now. Can't wait to dive into that. Rosie's Corner, also gift cards for all dads and grads this year as well. Rosie's Corner is a proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. Well, here we are. The Dallas Stars have control of the series over Edmonton 2-1. The Oilers blew the last game. Obviously, they were up 2-0, blew the lead. Dallas is one of those teams, man. They just keep coming at you. They're kind of like the Florida Panthers in that regard. They're so deep in every single position. But the thing is now is even though Darnell Nurse has played poorly and other guys have lost little battles in front of the net and the defense has kind of disappeared in spots, and even McDavid and Draisaitl in terms of the two-way forward play, not looking in the right direction. Robertson goes down the ice on one play. Edmonton, they get up 2-0 and then something happens and they kind of lose themselves and all the rest. But the pressure is on Connor McDavid, no question about it. I mean, he's one of these guys right now in NHL lore, in the history of the game. He is in right now. I mean, he's projected to be Gretzky, Lemieux, Howe, or he's one of these guys historically in the NHL. And when you compare him to those players, the Messiers, the Yzermans, the all-time players, the Guy Lafleurs, all these guys, they all eventually do win a Stanley Cup or two or three or even more than that. As we know, the players I just mentioned have at least one. A lot of them have multiple cups, the Jaromir Jagrs and company. These guys all have won Stanley Cups. Now, they're not totally judged by that, but it is a big part of their resume. And Connor McDavid, whether you like it or not, and again, I think he has a ton of time left, whether it's all in Edmonton or not. Sid Crosby, Ovechkin even got one cup, right? When you look at all of these guys in totality, they eventually do get a Stanley Cup. You can blame a defenseman here, you can blame a penalty kill there, McDavid here and there, Draisaitl, two-way play, Evander Kane, guys disappearing as a whole, all the rest. But what it comes down to is the entire face of the franchise, the entire franchise, Edmonton Oilers. We think of McDavid first. We see his face with the Oiler logo. We see the franchise, we say McDavid. Penguins, Crosby. That's just how this stuff works. The pressure's on him, whether it's fair or unfair. And look, he's delivered. I mean, just look at the last several games for Edmonton. I mean, he's put a couple of pucks in the net. He's been flying up and down. He's been doing his thing. I know that Edmonton, a couple of bad breaks, have gone against him as well. But reality is reality. I mean, when you look at it, it's the franchise and the face. The franchise and the face. I mean, imagine the Yankees going through that entire era. Derek Jeter not even getting one World Series ring. What do we say right now? Instead, we say, well, Jeter's Mr. Clutch, Mr. November. He's this, he's that. He's Mr. November. He's got the World Series MVP in 2000. He's got 5 rings, played in 7 World Series. Connor McDavid can still produce, but even if they lose, it's going to be on him, fairly or unfairly. That's just how it goes. Now, Darnell Nurse and others do have to step up. You look at that contract with Nurse, my God, he's making $9+ million. You look at other guys on that roster, they've got to perform. As a team, boy, I'll tell you, you go up 2-0 and you're at home, you got to close that out. A little bit's on McDavid, some of it's on Draisaitl, the two-way forward, the two-way play and all the rest. Lots on the defense. Skinner came up with some huge saves, but again, win or lose, getting to a cup, winning a cup. Ultimately, we look at McDavid in line with all those other greats I mentioned. Eventually, they win a Stanley Cup, fairly or unfairly, more difficult, less difficult, whatever the case may be. McDavid eventually needs that Stanley Cup. He'll win one, and then probably people will say he'll need even more. ML Sports Take here, brought to you by Rosie's Corner. Pizza and wings all day, hot and cold subs as well. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.